Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. No matter what time zone you happen to be in, welcome to Leaders Worldwide. I am your Sergeant at Arms, Isaac Ford. Club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Core values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our charter president, Cynthia Stott. Cynthia, you have the podium.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, we started a little bit late, but we are here and ready. The theme of the day is to be seen, being seen, and we sure are at Leaders Worldwide. We are being seen and visible in every way. So I would like to welcome our guests. We have with us Paul O'Malley, and he will be our guest evaluator. Thank you so much. Do you want to introduce yourself? Where are you calling in from?
I'd be delighted to, fabulous to be with you all the way from, I'm in Cork, Ireland in my kitchen. I'm a Toastmaster since 2015, and I'm president of Blarney Toastmasters Club. I'm also a division director and an incoming vice president, district vice president for public relations, or district public relations manager. So I'm an all-in person in relation to Toastmasters, and it's a thrill to be here. And I will do my very best to play my role. Back to you.
Excellent. Wow. A dignitary among us. Wonderful. Okay. And next we have also a guest timer, Mario. Would you like to introduce yourself? Where are you calling in from?
Hi everyone, I'm Mario, calling from Slovenia, Central Europe. Regular guest at this point in Leaders Worldwide. I'm a dual member, one in Slovenia, one in Founders District. The other club is in Founders District, Southern California, and I'm looking forward to this great meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Great, awesome. And that's all our guests for today. So great. I'm also the TMOD, and I'm supposed to introduce myself. So I'm TMOD for today. And I would like to say that I've already introduced the theme of the day, which is being seen. And sometimes we need to be seen when we're not ready. And I think that's really important, to be ready to be seen whenever you are called upon. And I think we learned that in spades today and in Toastmasters always. In fact, when I was a bank examiner, a consumer protection examiner, I was called upon to give 44 violations that were in the mortgage department. And I didn't even review the mortgage department. I was the examiner in charge, and I had 10 minutes to give my presentation to the board of directors of the bank. And when my boss asked me, I said, I'm a Toastmaster, I can do it right away. So I'm grateful for Toastmasters because they train us to be ready even when we're not ready. Okay, and so I would like to introduce our general evaluator for the day. That's Dee Marie Shai King, who is one of our newest area directors.
So, hello everyone. And I, yes, have been designated as an area director for the upcoming season. And I'm excited but scared because I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, and I will find out. You do know that. But as the general evaluator, my responsibility is to note everything that happens. And I had already written down, meeting started on time, so I had to go back and adjust that because we ended up having to juggle roles around and do what we do so well in Toastmasters, cover what needed to be covered. And that is what I will say at the end. But I will note everything that did happen and what didn't happen. I will note whether we started on time and all of that, and then I will give my report of the meeting at the end of the meeting. But I have functionaries who are assisting me to make sure that the meeting runs correctly. And the first functionary is Sally Reyes. and she is going to be our grammarian with the word of the day and our hour counter. So Sally, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Nadine. Our word of the day is visibility. To stand out. Employ color, speech, and volume to stand out above the crowd. And that's what we're looking for today. Thanks so much. And I also listen for the ums and the ahs and any unusual, wonderful words that might be noticeable. And thank you. Keep going.
Thank you for that, Sally. So I'd like for everybody to unmute your mic, please. And just say the word visibility.
Visibility.
Thank you so much for that. Now we know that we're covered, okay? The next functionary that is assisting me today is Mario. Mario is a guest, and he's really a guest member. I'll say that because he comes so often. We feel that he's also a member of the club, but he is functioning in the role of timer today. So Mario, would you explain the timing? You have the mic.
Right away, Madam GE. Hi, everyone. Today we're going to have 3 portions of the meeting. Prepared speeches. All 4 speeches will be between 5 and 7 minutes. At 5, I will show the green card. At 6, yellow, and then 7, red. This is where all the prepared speakers are going to have to wrap up, followed by table topics. Table topics or ad-lib, impromptu, improvised, extemporaneous speeches. Will be between 1 and 2 minutes. 1 minute is green, 1.5 yellow, and 2 minutes is red. Then you have 30 seconds of grace period to wrap up. And then there are the functionary roles. Grammarian is between, now for this club is between 2 and 3 minutes. And then the timer's report is again 2 and 3, as well as all 4 evaluators again have between 2 and 3 minutes. 2 is green, 2.5 yellow, and 3 minutes is red. That is all from my side. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much for that, Mario. And Paul, would you unmute your mic, please? And
Certainly.
just say the word visibility, please.
Visibility.
Thank you so much. He was away from his station when we said the word, and I thought, let me catch him right now. So everybody has said the word visibility, and that is the word of the day. We can use visibility as often as we can. And if you're going to be seen, that means you're visible. So visibility or any form of the word is going to be great. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Great, great, awesome. And a little bit of house cleaning. You wanted Atifa's information, Paul?
Yes, I understand.
He's going to evaluate me. I got her information, Cynthia. This is Isaac. I have
okay.
Atifa. I'm evaluating.
So who is Paul evaluating? I'm sorry.
Myself. He's evaluating me.
Isaac. Okay. And so Isaac, his speech, what's your project, Isaac?
Body language.
Body language, effective body language evaluation, level 3. Do you need that?
I don't need anything except Isaac's speech.
Great. He just needs to hear my speech. That's it. He's good to go.
Okay. Got it. Got you. Okay, great. Awesome. So let's see, back to introducing the first speaker of the day. Let me get your introduction. Well, first, we want to hear from her evaluator, which is Atifa. Atifa, can you tell us the objectives for Nadine, Maya Catherine's speech, please? You have the podium. You're muted.
Hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't in touch, so I haven't read through the evaluation form. Can Maya tell it?
No, it's
No,
in
to
the
us.
Leaders Worldwide WhatsApp group.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
Okay, and you can pull it up and then just read the objectives.
So the purpose is for the member to learn about and apply the skills needed to run a lessons learned meeting during a project or after its completion. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her leadership experience and the impact of a lessons learned meeting.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and let me get the introduction for Maya Catherine. And hold on just a sec. Here it is. Okay, Maya Catherine's speech is Lessons Learned, 8 Steps to Writing a Powerful Book About Your Life beta test. So Maya Catherine is a #1 best-selling author, transformational speaker, emotional intelligence EQ coach, and writing coach. Although she spent many successful professional years in a corporate world after college, she eventually decided to dedicate her life to helping others heal emotional trauma and reshape their lives to match their dreams. Since publishing her first book in September 2021, she has spoken at various universities, corporate wellness programs, mental health podcasts, and teen workshops, among others. Her life's mission and life's purpose is to help others heal and transform their lives from the inside out. Wonderful. Maya Catherine, 8 Steps to Writing a Powerful Book About Your Life beta test. 8 Steps to Writing a Powerful Book About Your Life beta test, Maya Catherine.
On September 16, 2021, I published my first book, An Apology to My Demons. An apology to the parts of myself that I didn't like, that I used to hate, that I looked down on, that I thought were not beautiful. It had been the result of years of emotional trauma that had just not healed. I was elated by the response of the book from people saying how it helped them heal their hearts. But one of the surprise feedback that I kept getting was, how did you do it? How did you transform your life experiences and life story into such a powerful book? After getting that feedback over and over, I decided to write a course about it. And I did. Early this year, I created a course called 8 Steps to Writing a Powerful Book About Your Life. I had it all together in a very, very long Word document. And I was getting ready to upload it on Kajabi, which is an online platform for courses. And then I had one of the best advice of my life from a lady that currently works from one of the authors featured in the book, The Secret. Yes, the book that was on Oprah and everywhere, and that changed the whole world of personal development. You can change your thoughts you can change your life by changing your thoughts. It was one of the best advice I ever got. And she said, why don't you beta test this course live on Zoom to a few students, and you'll never know how it's gonna affect the way you intend to deliver it. In March of this year, I decided to have a beta testing workshop with a few students, and it was one of the biggest lesson-filled experience of my life. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know in the beginning, and that end up enhancing my course more than I ever imagined. The first lesson I learned was that I had to adapt my speaking style and my communication style to one that was easy to understand, that was more interactive. I've told all the time that I have that teacher look. I think it's because of my glasses, or the teacher speech sometimes, and very philosophical. I am just a deep person by nature. But the beta testing taught me a great lesson to speak to people and interact with people. So I changed all my Word documents into slides. That was a very important lesson. In the slides, the things were flowing, words had space in between them. It wasn't all put together. I had colors and pictures. So it made the course more interactive and interesting. A second thing I learned is about visibility. And people want to be heard and they want to be seen. And although I had all the good intentions of sharing information I thought were valuable to my students, having them provide feedback to me, listening to them, hearing them, really changed the way the course was put together. I even ended up adding a bonus module in there to cover some of the things that the students wanted to hear about that were not in my original course. It was a very valuable lesson, which I call hearing things straight from the horse's mouth. If you want to serve people, you have to listen to them. You have to make sure that they feel heard and they feel seen, and that you reflect back the information that they need for their lives. And finally, another big lesson that I learned was that I didn't need to be perfect. In my original, 40-page Word document, everything was perfectly tight sentences, deep sentences. And I realized that I had an issue when I couldn't deliver the sentence exactly the way I had it in the Word doc. I felt bad. I had technical issues when I had to restart my entire computer during the sessions. I had things that I said that were on the slide, but the slide wasn't on the screen yet. I just had a few snafus. But one thing I realized is that my students were okay with it because they understood I was coming from the heart and the material of my course is good. I released that need to be perfect and I just went along with the course. And in the instance where I had to restart my computer, when I came back, all my students were still on the Zoom call. That really touched my heart. So big lessons learned, I guess, in my beta testing. First, I'm grateful for the advice that I got from that lady. And second of all, I learned very valuable lessons that you have to adapt to the people you're trying to serve. You have to adapt your style to make sure that it's a conversation. Number two, that you have to make sure that people are seen and heard. And number three, perfection is realness. As long as you come from the heart and that you intend to deliver a good product, things will just work out the way they need to work out. That's basically what I learned in a nutshell. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Had to find my microphone here. And could we have 1 minute of silence on the clock for the evaluator? Mario, you're muted.
I'm thinking out loud.
Is that 1 minute yet?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Our next speaker is Dr. Nadine James. And please remind me who is evaluating her?
I am Cynthia, Maya Catherine.
Maya Catherine. Okay, right. Okay, great. So would you please introduce her project objectives?
Yes, Dr. Nadine James is going to speak on Dynamic Leadership Level 4, Building a Social Media Presence. Her speech length is between 5 to 7 minutes, and her speech title is Take Students from Struggling to Honor Roll, GoFundMe Campaign.
Wonderful, wonderful. And let me get her introduction. Okay. Dr. Nadine James is a clinical research scientist and president and CEO of the nonprofit organization Illuminexation, Inc., a nonprofit that focuses on illuminating the minds of the next generation of marginalized and underserved students in grades kindergarten through 12, K to 12. They accomplish this by providing science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, also called STEAM, based tutoring, test preparation, mentorship, related services, and programs. Students are helped to unlock their full potential, discover their brilliance, and get A's. Her motto is discover your brilliance at any age, from anyone at any time. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Nadine James. Take Students from Struggling to Honor Roll GoFundMe campaign. Take Students from Struggling to Honor Roll GoFundMe campaign, Dr. Nadine James.
Good afternoon, everyone. Even in the title, Take Students from Struggling to Honor Roll GoFundMe campaign has to be, you have to be visible. And so today I will be talking to you about the strides I've made with my program. How did I start out? Some years ago, in 2003, I was asked to coordinate the National Chemistry Week. In so doing, I was asked to go to schools in the suburbs, as well as schools in the inner city. When I did that, I was in for a rude awakening. I realized that the schools in the suburbs versus the schools in the inner city did not have the same type of science education. There was a huge disparity between the two. Hence, Illuminexation was birthed, which means illuminating the minds of the next generation. Some years ago, in 2015, President Obama said, science is more than a school project, or the periodic table, or the properties of waves. It is an approach to the world, a critical way to understand and explore and engage that world, and then have the capacity to change that world and to share the accumulated knowledge. So what is the problem? The problem is the United States have fallen drastically behind their global counterparts in STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We have become invisible in a sense. So now, we are struggling in areas of science, math, and reading. According to McKinsey, because of this, since COVID, that gap that I saw many years ago has widened even more. And because of this, students may earn $49,000 to $61,000 less over their lifetime. And the US economy could amount to 128 billion to 188 billion less over every year when this cohort enters the workforce. At Illumination, we intend to be visible by helping students to close that educational and excellence gap and compete with their global counterparts. I do have students from Trinidad, from Jamaica, from Barbados, from the USA. And I do supply these students with school supplies, tablets, and so forth. And I do have a student who recently won the prestigious DePaul scholarship to, this prestigious COSE scholarship to DePaul University. Now, I'm going to walk you through, I'm going to tell you about a couple of my students. There is London and her sister Delancia, who has participated in our Kansas Lancer program. I'm going to speak to you about London for a little bit. London, in our programs, we use certain strategies. And these strategies are autonomy, belonging, involvement, and enjoyment. In autonomy, we give students the opportunity to choose their projects. So London chose a tennis racket that was pink, and she said this would be a woman who was enduring breast cancer treatment. London gave her curly hair, a pink hat to cover up alopecia or hair loss, beady eyes, a nose, a mouth, and a pink thing over her mouth. I didn't understand what that little pink thing over her mouth was. So I said, London, what is that? And she said, her tooth. And I said, but London, why is it she only has one tooth? She said, well, she lost the rest of them during treatment. And for me, that was a eureka moment because I did not remember that you can actually lose your teeth during radiation and chemotherapy. So she taught me something that moment. When we're teaching our students, we have them learn to live with freedom, ease, and discovery. We don't coerce them. There's no indoctrination. There's no dictatorship. We make sure learning is fun, it's emotional, it's intellectual, it's moving, it's multidimensional, it's layered, and it touches the mind, the spirit, and their emotions. It has to be actively engaging as well. There's deep concentration. They have to listen as somebody's speaking. They have to write as somebody is reading. So we ask them questions to pull out their knowledge. There are 6 great science teaching principles that we use: challenge, explanation, modeling, practice, feedback, and questioning. We use these to help our students who are struggling. We give them work that helps them, to struggle a little bit to take them to a higher level of expectancy. We give them complex concepts and we break it down into concrete, understandable concepts. In terms of modeling, they have to show us their understanding in terms of creative application, that is visual and performing arts. We have them practice until that practice becomes permanent. And there's this 360 feedback where they're teaching us. Now, let me talk to you about another student. His name is Joel. Joel participated in all of Illumination's programs. When Joel started, he was quiet, he was shy, he was an average student. Joel continued participating in our programs until Joel chose a project, not at grade level, a middle school level or high school level or college level, but he chose a project at a master's level and delivered it with excellence. After Joel did that, Joel's mom contacted me to say Joel was on high honor roll at school. Joel continued participating in our programs until Joel, last year in February, Joel's mom contacted me to say Joel received the National College Board Outstanding Performance Award. Now, I've said all this to say that students like Joel, recently he graduated from high school, and he earned a full scholarship to Pace University to pursue a degree in Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Now, students like Joel have the capacity to close that economic gap by earning 49,000 to 61,000 more, or the economic gap of the US by closing that $128 billion to $188 billion. And so we're asking you to support us in supporting students like Joel, who have that capacity to excel, close educational gap, and excel by donating to our GoFundMe.
Great.
And here is the link. I will share it in the chat.
Okay. Wonderful, Dr. Nadine. Excellent. So now we will have 1 minute of silence, and you can share your GoFundMe campaign and what you. So you're sharing this campaign as a part of your project.
As a part of my project.
Yeah.
And I'm requesting individuals to share it on their platforms and donate as well.
Okay, great. And 1 minute of silence for the evaluator. Is that 1 minute? Okay, great. Okay, so now we're come to our evaluation portion. We're going to have the first speaker was Maya Catherine, and she's going to be evaluated by Atifa Dashamukya. So welcome, Atifa.
Thank you, Cynthia. So we all had a great time listening to Maya and her experience, her lessons learned project. And I really was impressed by the cheery opening that arrested attention not only by the words that she spoke, but also by the way she carries herself, the trouble she has taken to look impeccable. And well, that all arrests the audience attention, if I may say the least. Beta testing, wonderful concept. Such a beautiful concept that she applied, and she derived great lessons out of that beta testing, and it fits in perfectly to her project over here at Toastmasters. And we as audience got a lot to learn about the invaluable value of beta testing. She used the word visibility. I bet our grammarian would have noticed, and that would be an impromptu use of the word of the day, which I loved. She did use a beautiful idiom and added something she said about, right from the horse's mouth. And then she added a dash of laughter or a little smile to that, which was very pleasing to see. She also brought out her vulnerability, her humane side, by talking about the tech snags that she faced while delivering that Zoom class to her students. And didn't we all love that? While all of that was great, I would also like to point out a few areas where she could do even better. And that is to implement a little bit of a pause at times, like when she was asking the question, how did you do it? Could have been made more impactful with a real intonation of the question and a pause to add more emphasis. Also, she maintained, I think, the teacher tone which she was saying she's conscious about using a teacher tone and philosophizing. And we could see a glimpse of that in her presentation today as well. I would love her to be more fluid and more full of joy, and it should come forth more rather than remaining a little bit stiff. That is the scope for improvement, I should say, for my target speaker. The project objectives are beautifully fulfilled. She beautifully shows the impact of a lessons learned meeting as she's supposed to be doing. She had a well-organized speech, and I can only say congratulations, Maya Kat. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Awesome evaluation. Loved it. Wow. And next, we're going to have Maya Kathleen. She's going to be evaluating Dr. Nadine James.
Dr. Nadine, your speech was very lively. You made us appreciate the cause that you were embracing, that you were supporting, by going into the details as to the different accomplishments of your students. You use good body language. Although you were sitting down, you really use good body language. Well, you did utilize the word of the day. That was a good improv. That was absolutely great, last minute. So I did appreciate it. I appreciate that as well. It was very engaging. The speeches and the examples that you gave. Also, I like the part where you mentioned the effects of the chemo or the treatment that you were not aware of, and you actually went, back and forth like it was an actual conversation going on. And I really appreciated that because we felt that we were there in the conversation as well. If I had to say anything, it was only that I kind of understood that the GoFundMe was related to the work that you did, but it was only towards the end that you had the ask. And I know a lot of times the ask is at the end. I would just say maybe during the speech to kind of tie it a little bit to the title so that we understand, okay, the whole point of the speech is for the GoFundMe. And, so maybe something like, and this is why we need the funds, and this is why we need the funds, something like that, as opposed to at the end of the speech to catching that. Other than that, very engaging. Thank you for what you do. And I was very happy to be able to evaluate it and to listen to you as well.
Wonderful evaluation. Wow.
Thank you,
Wow.
Maya. Okay, I am going to leave. I'm going to see
Okay.
you.
We'll see you
Thank you
later,
so much.
Nadine. I know
Bye.
Maya Catherine has to leave too. And we're going to have a break for 5 minutes. See you all soon.
Thank you so much, Maya.
Yeah. And then I think, so we'll definitely hear from Atifa, from Isaac, and then Atifa. And we have the evaluators just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Let me make sure. We have, Isaac is going to be evaluated by Paul. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Cynthia.
Great.
This is Isaac. And
yes. And Atifa is going to be evaluated by Isaac.
yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
And then we'll have those evaluations directly after the speeches so that hopefully Atifa can get off to bed before it's too late.
Thanks,
How are you
Cynthia.
doing? Are you okay?
Carry on.
It's hard. I think we can cut.
Vulnerable, I should say vulnerable at this moment.
What was that?
I'm vulnerable, at this moment, not too strong, not feeling too strong.
You did a wonderful evaluation. That was wonderful. very confident, very well addressed. So I think you're feeling vulnerable, but I think you are demonstrating what you can do. Yeah. Yeah. So our timer is Mario. How many minutes have we taken? If
He
we
fell off the call, but he's trying to log back in.
Okay. Okay. And when he logs back in, let's try to start again so that we can get people off for the day. Wonderful speeches, magnificent evaluation. You know, leaders worldwide, it's really, you are truly leaders worldwide. Wonderful. Oh, looks like, oh, Mario's back. Everything okay, Mario?
Yes.
I want to start a couple minutes early if we're all ready. Are you set to start? We're going to make a shift in the agenda, and we're going to do the same thing we did before the break. We're going to have 2 speakers and then 2 evaluators, and then we'll get on to the table topics, okay? So our first speaker will be Isaac, evaluated by Paul, and our second speaker will be Atifa, evaluated by Isaac. Okay, and I have a chat message. I can't read them so well. And Jennifer, let's see. Yeah, Jennifer Ferguson is a guest, but I think she had to drop off. She is one of our guests. She's a friend of Sonia Pons, and that's actually how I met Sonia Pons, was through Jennifer. But I think she had to drop off. So, great. So, Paul, are you ready? I would like to introduce Paul Mahoney to evaluate Isaac Ford. Can you share his speech objectives? Oh, maybe he's away still on his break. Okay, we'll have to pause and wait for him to come back. So, let's see.
Cynthia, how did you guys meet Paul? Because I see everybody here knows Paul.
Not everybody. I know Paul very well. I met him. I think I met him through one of our members that lived in Ghana, and she introduced me to him, and he works for the Zoom Academy in the UK and Ireland, and he helped us out with our Zoom originally. Yeah.
Rosemary, by any chance? Was it through Rosemary?
No, Rosemary lives in Dominica. It's Patricia Monsalarke lives in Ghana.
Paul has returned.
And Paul has returned. Okay, sorry to
And
just
5
step you
minutes
up
is up.
there. Yes, Paul. And would you like to introduce the speech objectives for Isaac?
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is working on becoming more motivational, working on motivational strategies. And as part of his path to become more effective as a motivator, he is today demonstrating his current ability to use his body to effectively amplify his messages. Effective body language is what you're familiar with as a term. It is a level 3 project, and the speech title is a very important 3-word title. And the 3-word title for his speech today is something that I have ready to tell you any second now. And I will tell you that his speech is just what you've experienced yourself. Hurdles of life. Hurdles of life. And I will be evaluating this speech and reporting later on. Back to you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Paul. And it's my pleasure to introduce Isaac Ford. Let me get his introduction. Isaac is retired from the Producers Writers Guild. He's been a Toastmaster for over 20 years and has won quite a few competitions for international speech contest. Today, he spends most of his time walking and listening to audiobooks. Today, his speech is Hurdles of Life. Isaac Ford. Hurdles of Life, Hurdles of Life, Isaac Ford.
Can you remember a time when someone convinced you to do something that you didn't want to do? For me, it was Coach Blaney. Coach was inspirational, motivational, and wise. It was the first day in high school track practice, and Coach said, "Isaac, I need a high hurdler. Think you can do that?" I said, "Seriously? With a body like this? I'm 4'12". I weigh 130 pounds. I can't run the high hurdles." Then he said, "Well, I need you anyway. Do you have a high school rival?" Ours was Yerington, and they had a superstar hurdler by the name of Mike Rippey. Mike was tall, thin, and fast. Everybody knew that nobody could beat Mike. One unforgettable day, Mike and I came face to face at a track meet held on Mike's home turf, Yerington. We're on that starting line, and when I crossed the finish line and looked back and saw Mike behind me, I couldn't believe it. I beat Mike. When I heard the announcer, what do you think he said? He said, "The winner of the 120-yard high hurdles, Mike Rippey." What? Mike Rippey? I said, "Mike, you know you didn't win that race. You guys are trying to cheat me." That's what I wanted to say. But I said nothing and just walked away. So Coach approached me and said, "Isaac, the next time you race Mike, I want you to beat him so convincingly, there will be no doubt as to who the winner." And then he said, "I know you can do it. If you put 100% in, that's all I expect." Those words lit a fire in me. From that day forward, I was the first person to practice last to lead every day. Because I knew there was just one person I needed to beat. Who do you think that was? Myself. The next time I saw Mike was the last track meet of the year, the Nevada State Finals, held in Reno. So we're on that starting line, and when I heard that pow, I flew over those hurdles like they weren't even there. I ran my fastest time ever. And when I got to the finish line and looked back and saw Mike, when I hear the announcer, "We have a new state record with a time of 14.2 seconds," and a new state champion. What do you think he said? He said, Isaac Ford. Come on now, have a little faith in me. Not only did I win that race, I got a 4-year scholarship to run track at the University of Nevada in Reno. I became the first person in my family to go to college. The fact is, though, I just wanted to beat Mike. So coach comes over to me. He said, Isaac, I knew you could do it. When you give it 100% every time, good things are going to always happen. 9 years ago, I finally reconnected with Coach Blaney. It had been over 41 years since we last spoke. So I get him on the phone. Coach Blaney, you may not remember me, but this is Isaac Ford. You'll never guess what he said. He said, Isaac Ford, who ran the high hurdles in 14.2 seconds? Coach, I'm a motivational speaker now, and I've been given a speech in your honor because I never had a chance to thank you for all those lessons you have taught me in high school. Today, in May, Coach turned 80 years old, and we speak at least once a month. So recently I said, Coach, why did you pick me to run the high hurdles? He said, Isaac, I look for 3 things in a hurdler: speed, flexibility, and depth perception. You got to know where you are between those hurdles. And then he said, I look at running the hurdles like real life, because you will face some hurdles and you could hit that hurdle, fall down, stay down, or you could try to take a shortcut and go around, or you can face that hurdle, jump over it, and keep going. Then he said something that really changed the way I think. He said, but the most important thing is what you do between those hurdles. Are you stressing or counting your blessings? The thing is, enjoy life between the hurdles.
Wonderful, wonderful. Amazing speech. And we have gone through some hurdles today. So I think your speech spoke to all of us. And we're going to take 1 minute of silence. But while we do, Atifa, if you could post your speech title and your introduction in Leaders Worldwide or chat, but tell me where you're going to post it so I can read it for you. So 1 minute of silence on the clock, please. Thank you.
One minute is up.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Atifa, oh, great. You got it just in time. Yes, thank you. And next up, we're going to have Atifa Dakamusha, and her evaluator will be Isaac Ford. Isaac, would you like to share her speech objectives?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Atifa's, the purpose of this speech is this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of the speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Oh,
Madam
is
Toastmaster.
that right? Is that the speech objective that you have? But you're,
Well, I'm
Yeah,
reading for her form. and
yeah,
that's what it says.
but
I have done this project in a previous pathway. It is like this, that I take evaluation and next part of the project is to implement that evaluation. So it's very much in order.
so what is your speech about? I'm confused. You're doing a
I
5 to
have
7.
my speech title. Yeah, I'm doing a 5 to 7 minute speech. And
Okay.
depending on the evaluation I get today, I'm supposed to give another version of the same.
Oh, this
speech.
is evaluation and feedback speech number 1 and 2. Is that right,
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Okay, let me introduce Atifa. Her speech title is Happiness Decoded by the Master. And her introduction is that Atifa Dashamuka is a life coach and corporate trainer who believes in doing her best. Wonderful. Atifa Dashamuka, Happiness Decoded by the Master. Happiness Decoded by the Master, Atifa Dashamuka.
Happiness. What an elusive thing that we all are running after. You must have heard about the Harvard study, the longest continued Harvard study that studied generations of men as part of one study, and it was about happiness and what makes one happy. Such is the character of this quality, happiness, that we are all pursuing. It has really put the scholars into a tizzy. And you know what they found out? Would anybody like to guess what is the major marker of happiness in human life as put forward by this Harvard study, which is quite famous? Anybody in the audience who would like to contribute on that or guess or take a guess? I see the expressions, but don't hear any responses. So let me fill in for you. That quality of life is relationships. Well, relationships is the only marker that ensures human happiness for the longest duration of time across generations, across races, castes, communities, nationalities. It has been found that relationships, if you have the best relationships, you are the most primed to be happy in this world. And who doesn't want to be? Now I refer to a master decoding this quality of happiness. This master that I refer to is referred also as Guru Dev by Indian audiences. He is famous internationally and you may have heard of it. His name is Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and he's the founder of Art of Living. Well, he has written a famous book called Happiness Decoded, and I am in love with that book, and that is what I'm trying to present, the master's view on decoding happiness. Well, Ravi Shankar ji takes a very simple approach to life, and with his seemingly simple teachings, he delivers depths of wisdom that one cannot even fathom. The thing that is said about happiness, the first moot point that I want to raise is that happiness is an essential condition of human life. We are all born with that joy and that happiness, which is seen in infants. And as we move along, as we progress in life, we tend to lose out on that God-gifted quality. So first, to realize that happiness or joy is a trait that is innate to us, and we do not have to treat it as something elusive. That is the first point to start, according to the master. He then goes on to differentiate between infant joy and mature joy. Have you noticed infants and their joyful character? That joy is largely born out of taking. The infant only takes, isn't it? It takes feeding, it takes looking after, it keeps on taking, hardly giving anything apart from those cute, dimply smiles that make us so happy. Well, from that infant state of joy, of taking, the master exhorts us to move on to a mature joy of giving, because the joy that is in giving is not there in the taking. We would have to remain infants to enjoy the joy of taking. But now, as life proceeds and we turn out into mature individuals, it is the joy of giving that makes us perennially joyful throughout the journey of life. We are also to be aware of the major roadblocks that face us on this journey towards that joyful state. Anger is one of the major roadblocks on this path, and I'm sure you'd agree. Each one of us would not be too proud of ourselves about the way we handle anger. We would be having those moments when we feel really frustrated and disappointed with the way we process anger. So it bears a thought, it bears some deep understanding of how to process our anger. Why is the anger attacking us? Where is it stemming from? Is it a frustration with desires not being achieved? Or is it a more striving for perfection that can never be achieved? Both of these, desires not being achieved or that endless strife after perfection, are leading us down that alley where we move further and further from the essential human trait of happiness. It bears thinking. Let us think about how to process anger, because we cannot process it in the heat of the moment. We need to have our strategies in place. We need to keep that in our armory, so to say, so as not to nurture that major roadblock to happiness. There are other roadblocks. There is fear, there is hate, there is ego. But the need of the hour is to be aware of them and to find out our own personalized strategies to deal with each of them. And then, when we are able to rise above the general level of happiness and the embodiments of peace and calm, then it is up to us to become visible. You must have also heard about Buddha. You know, when he achieved enlightenment or nirvana, he went silent for a few days. That impact of enlightenment was so deep that he was silenced. He could not speak. He was dumbfounded. But legend has it that it was then that a messenger of God in the form of an angel appeared to him and said that it is not appropriate for him to keep that knowledge to himself. And that is when the Buddha started preaching. That is when he became what we know him, revere him as to be. So let us be visible in our happiness. I invite all of you to revel in that human happiness. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Wonderful, wonderful. And could we have 1 minute of silence on the clock, please, for our evaluator? Thank you, Mario. Awesome. And now we're going to have Paul O'Malley evaluate Isaac Ford. Welcome, Paul.
This wasn't a speech about body language. This was a speech in which Isaac used his body, or at least some of it, in order to heighten the effect he was going to have on his audience. Let's remember back to the body language. Here is a man who demonstrated about 6 different gestures, ranging from and I won't list the other ones. So clearly, as he was learning how to become more effective at using his body, he has got a number of golf clubs in his bag. So clearly, my recommendation to you, Isaac, is that you pick about no more than 4 or 5 pieces of body language, and that you make them your brand signifier. To be a motivational speaker, you have to stand out from the crowd. And that would be my recommendation to you. You have the ability as you demonstrate it. So there's my first point to you. My second point is that I spoke with Isaac before the meeting, and he wanted to know that I would say something about the call to action, what action would take. Now go back to the structure of the speech. Let us just look at the whole beginning of the speech rested upon grabbing the attention's audience with a rhetorical statement like, can you remember a time that something happened? And then he went off into a personal story about his coach. My recommendation is that about another 35 to 40 seconds be spent before you tell us about your coach. We're sitting there wondering what on earth is the value of this speech. And why should I be bothered about the coach? Best next time for you to at least hint to your audience what they're going to get out of paying attention to you. Frankly, who wants to listen to coaches? No, what I want to listen to is the benefit I'm going to get, not the benefit you got from your coach. So that's my recommendation. Lengthen the beginning. It's a classic, I would say, mistake that many Toastmasters make, which is they give a very short indication to grab people's attention. They give no promise about what's in store, and they go off into a personal story, and they hope that people will be interested in their personal story. So that's my second recommendation. I felt that something terribly important had been told to me about what really matters is what happens in between the hurdles that you face. I recommend that that's what you make your speech about. It's what happens in between the hurdles that you face. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Paul. The excellent evaluation. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And up next, we have Atifa's speech being evaluated by Isaac Ford. Welcome, Isaac.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and especially Atifa. I thought your speech was fabulous. This was an informational speech. And what I liked is that you reached to the audience, you reached in to get audience participation. You asked a question. And what most people don't do is when they ask a question and no one has an answer, I like the fact that you said, this is what has happened. This is what people have asked before. That shows a professionalism on speaking. That was a great job. And you made 3 points, and you told us that the speech was about happiness, and you let us know what it takes to be happy. And you talked about infant happiness, which I thought was interesting because that's true. Infants are about give, give, give. And you made that point. And then you went on to adults, which is to make other people happy, to show happiness. And now I know it's probably not a part of your speech, but if you could add a little humor, that would hit all the points. And one place where you could have added humor is when you were talking about infants. It's about give, give, give. You could have been in the voice of an infant, give me, give me, give me, just to try to change it and have the example of a child, just to get a little more dialogue, because it's mostly narration, which is great, but sometimes you want to add maybe a little humor when it's a serious speech that everybody's trying to learn something from. So that's always a good thing to do. And I tell this to most people, and I think it was said at the National Speakers Association, but it says, you don't have to have humor in your speech unless you want to get paid. And that's why I always recommend, if you can, put a little humor in your speech. But I loved your speech, and you did name a guru. I couldn't catch his name just because I maybe couldn't hear it, but I liked how you called back to his book, that you picked up most of the points that you're talking about. So I will say, excellent speech, and you gave some great points. And the fact that this was just off the top, that you weren't scheduled to speak, but you spoke, and nobody would have known the difference that you hadn't prepared for this speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Wonderful evaluation and excellent speeches, excellent evaluations, phenomenal. We did them, the evaluations a little early so that Atifa could go off to bed. I know it's very late. You did a wonderful job staying up and preparing your speech, giving us your speech. Excellent. I hope you will be giving us speeches more often. Wonderful. And now we're off to our table topics. So the timer, if you could please remind us the timing for table topics.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Cynthia, table topics are improvised speeches, and they last between 1 and 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will show you the green light, 1.5 yellow, and 2 minutes red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up. Back to you.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to invite our president, International Immediate Past District Director of Pakistan, Tala bin Hamid, to give us our table topics.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Thank you so much, everyone. Lovely to be here. So who's up for a little table topics? Please raise your hand. All right, Paul O'Mahony. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
That is a very good pronunciation, Tala. Very good pronunciation.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. I'm relieved. All right, so today's theme is to be seen, right? We all strive here to be seen, and the answer seems to be that perhaps we cannot be better than anyone else, but we certainly can be different. We can certainly have our own unique attributes. So, Mr. Paul, would you like to tell us that what is the one thing that sets you apart from every other person on the planet. Maybe one thing or a combination of things, entirely up to you.
My parents had never had a baby like me before. They considered that I was standout, unique, unrepeatable. Well, after they had another 5 children, they may have changed their mind. I was certainly a noisy child, and many people are noisy, but I went around my garden at home collecting mud on my clothes and on my knees and on my arms. And I dragged that mud into the house. I think I was becoming a little more unlike other children. I went to university and became a very opinionated person of a left-wing disposition who did not believe in any God. I was getting more and more unlike any creature my parents had ever come across. I went to work in London, dropped out of being an academic, became a bus conductor, and became an absolute obsessive lover of operatic music. Well, my poor mother and father, they really thought they were dealing with a different creature from a different planet. When I forgot how to play golf, after all those hours and years that my father had helped me to become good at the game, I was even more and more peculiar from my father's point of view. How could anybody get worse and worse as he got more and more practiced? Gradually, friends, I have turned into a weird kind of individual who has put layers and layers and layers of dirt on top of myself. And that's how I think I stand today. Thank you.
Oh my God. I've been thoroughly out-weirded. I thought I was weird. But come to think of it, isn't that the story of every one of us? How many of us are exactly where we planned to be when we were 5 or 10 or 15 or 20? We are all at different places. And not only do we exist in a unique place, but we exist in a unique time. So, Dee Marie, would you like to be the next table topic speaker?
Yes, Tyler, since you singled me out, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. Really wanted
That's
to
fine. No, I will go.
All right, so just imagine this and try to get your head around it. Each and every one of us was born with the Big Bang. If the Big Bang theory is correct, means every particle inside us is at least 14 billion years old. And even after we have lived our lives, our particles will continue to live on till the end of the universe for billions and billions of years. So, like to be ideally in that whole story. Where would you like to find yourself? Or which one would be your ideal stage?
Let me explain to you that something happened somewhere along the way in my life. God was able to give me the insight to be so comfortable, so confident, and so self-assured at where I am. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't try and go and decipher a point at which I would hit the stage and what particular thing I would do. I have learned to adjust. Sometimes I feel like a chameleon. There are so many different roles that I play, and I have to do so many different things. But God and the love of my mother and father prepared me to be able to sustain, to adapt, to watch my visibility and be sure that I was giving a good impression. And I would be just totally at a loss if I tried to redo what I think of as D. Marie Shy King. I did say at one point that if I could have told my mom and dad what to name me, it would have been D. Marie instead of Dorothy. But then I had no word in that. So I find myself very comfortable where I am at this stage and this point in my life. My desire is to be able to be a role model, to have an impact, and to add insight to someone else's journey, to let them understand I am who I am, and I make no apologies for who I am is me. I am so grateful that you asked that question. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Dee Marie, I believe I speak for everyone when I say that we are more than grateful for that answer. You may have just solved one of the universe's greatest mysteries. We're also worried about where we came from and where we're going to go. We forget to live in the present. And if we are as well adjusted, as accepting, as at peace with whatever comes, it doesn't matter. No matter which stage will be, we will be role models. So you are a role models for your fellow human beings. And someday, when we'll all be particles floating in the voids of space, your particles will be the role model particles for all of us. Thank you so much for that. Who would like to go next? Okay, our time. Mario, would you like to go next, or you just raise? Okay, all right. So who will be the third speaker? Come on, I cannot assign a topic to myself. Okay, the gloves are off now. Okay, Cynthia, are you game?
I'm game.
Always. All right, all right. So Cynthia, here's your question. If there was one thing that you've never done before and you'd like to do, what would it be? Something completely unique that you've never done before, but you'd like to do. What would it be and why?
Well, I practiced for it, but I haven't done it yet. Thank you for that amazing topic. Mr. Table Topics Master, DTM Tala bin Hamid. I've taken horseback riding lessons, but I'm a city girl. I was born in San Francisco, and I thought horses were the plastic things that you put a quarter in their ear and then you rode them in front of the grocery store. Okay? Well, I've ridden a horse and rounded up cattle in Hawaii. And that ended in almost my death. That horse ran away with me. He was going like 45 miles an hour. And when I get scared, I squat down and I scream. And that's what I did, which is exactly what a jockey does. And he went even faster. And the saddle started moving back and forth. And he shot me 2 pictures. He said, 1 picture, you're dead. The other picture, you break your neck, like Christopher Reeves, Superman. And I said, with an expletive that I will not say today, no way. I will not do that. I give the big X on one side and then the big X on the other side. And that horse came to a slow and complete stop and didn't buck me off. and I couldn't speak. I could only scream. And my guide came running up to me and she goes, "You did everything wrong. How did you stop that horse?" And I said, "Only with my mind." That was my death-defying, once-in-a-lifetime thing. Back to you, Mr. Toastmasters Master.
Wow, just wow, what an amazing story. And you know, I'm getting goosebumps having listened to the 3 table topic speeches. No, not in a long time I've witnessed such absolutely phenomenal table topics answers, all 3 of you. So with slight sadness, I have to bring this session to an end, and with the delightful announcement that I have my own horror story to tell, but I will save it for a speech. Not entirely dissimilar to yours, Cynthia. So, so over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Awesome. I can't wait for that horse story. Awesome. So now to our Madam General Evaluator. I know you have been listening to us and waiting with bated breath to say anything, because our evaluators were, the duty was passed over so that we could go quickly. We're back to you, Madam General Evaluator, to close up our meeting.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait until I give my general report. But the first thing that I will do is call on the report grammarian, Sally Reyes. Sally, would you please give us your grammarian's report?
Thank you very much. What an interesting day of stories. Paul, 1 word of visibility. Tala, 1 word of visibility. Di Marie, 1. Maya, 1. Nadine, 1. And Tifa, 2. I loved Atifa's word, derived. I forgot how she used it, but it was distinct and a very excellent word. And I love the word portals of life. That sounds challenging. And motivational strategies. And unreproachable. I think that was Maya. Nadine. Thank you very much. That's what we did with our language today, and it was very enjoyable. The stories were precious. Thank you.
So I want everyone to take note. She did not mention any ahs or uhs or ums. So I think we need to give ourselves another round of applause.
Woohoo! And you had us all say the word of the day at once. So
I
the word of the day was used so many times.
One additional count to that, yes. So now we'll have a report from our timer, Mario.
Isaac, can you give me co-host rights, please? Thank you. Sorry for the hold up. Okay. I cannot share my screen. Why not?
Can you just give us the verbal report, please?
Okay, then I will do that. For the prepared speakers, speaker 1, Maya, 6:25, speaker 2, Nadine, 8:12. She was over time. Evaluator 1, I'm going in order of appearance. Evaluator 1, Atifa, 2:52. Evaluator 2, Maya, 2:06. Speaker 3, Isaac, 6:48. Speaker 4, Atifa, 7:10. Evaluator 3, Paul, 3:32. He went over time by 2 seconds. Evaluator 4, Isaac, 3:07. On to table topics. Table topic speaker 1, Paul, 2:27. Speaker 2, DeMarie 212, and Speaker 3, Cynthia 214. Grammarian Sally was at 1 minute. Back to you.
Super job, super job. I am so excited to be able to offer my report. We have listened to some awesome speeches. The speakers' information ranged from beta testing, and when you change your thoughts, you change your life. When you change your thoughts, you change your life. Then we heard about the STEM studies that students are falling behind in, and the entire United States is lagging behind because we're not pushing the STEM areas as we should. And we're losing money. That's the main thing. People are not making the salaries that they could if they had the knowledge and the expertise. Then we were told how if you do something that you want to do, and when you give it your all, something good will come from that, from Isaac's speech of what to do between the hurdles. And then the fourth speaker, Atifa, talked to us about the happiness being decoded. And we found out that our source of happiness are our interpersonal relationships. But she took us to the baby, and everybody could relate to that. Think of the baby laying down, kicking up, just making us laugh and making us so happy. But all the time he's saying, I need this, I need that, do this, do that. And that is true. So the meeting allowed us to think and to stretch our wings and to stretch our minds on so many different levels. I agree with Tala. His questions were phenomenal for our table topics, and it caused all of us to stretch our minds and come up with something that we thought was appropriate as a response. And that is what Toastmasters is all about. I have a signature speech that says it all starts at the club level. And the things that are done at the club level allow us to rise to the point of the competitions for the International Speech Contest and for somebody to finally be the winner. And that is huge, but it all started at the club level. And today, this club did a phenomenal job of appearing professional. We got off to a slow start because we were a little past our normal starting time, but that was understandable. At that point, the team made the dream work because we needed people to fill roles and to do certain things. Everyone stepped up to the plate, took an additional role, and we made the dream work. And today's meeting was a dream come true. I enjoyed it, so thank all of you for your participation and the use of the word visibility. I think we were all visible today in some way. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And we just appreciate that teamwork, making the dream work. And on our team were our guests, Mario for our timer, and Paul for our evaluator who pitched it and stepped in. So it's amazing, amazing. And back to you. Well, we want to welcome our president, Tala bin Hamid, to, oh, actually, no, it goes to me because I'm the VPE. Okay, so roles for today. And so we had most of our roles filled for June 19th at 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. I just want to confirm some roles. Thank you, Paolo Mali. Yes. Okay. And we've got let's see, we've got Isaac as our sergeant at arms. We've got the president is Tala, Toastmaster is Rosemary Sweeney. We need a general evaluator. We need a general evaluator and a timer for next week. So
I can be the general evaluator.
You can be the general evaluator. Okay, great. And can you note these down for me, DeMarie? Because it's hard for me to write and call out at the same time I'm on my phone. So just that the general evaluator will be done by you, and we still need a timer. And Then our Toastmaster evaluator, we have Nadine James as an evaluator. Speaker is Dee Marie Shy King. All right, you're gonna do triple duty as a general
It
evaluator?
sounds like I am. Oh, I'll be evaluating as well, speaking and evaluating, right?
Yes.
I guess I can do that. That doesn't sound totally out of my purview.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Many hats. Okay. And let's see. Rosemary Sweeney is and then, so yeah, Dee Marie is the evaluator number 2. Speaker number 3 is Isaac. 2 is Isaac Ford. And then evaluator number 3 is Isaac Ford, and then Dr. Nadine James will be speaking. And I believe she will give us a 10 to 12-minute speech. So I don't think we have room for a 4th speaker. But that's all our roles. So at this time in 2 weeks at 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., we don't have any roles filled. So we need a Toastmaster of the day, 4 speakers, and 4 speakers and evaluators, and general evaluator and timer and grammarian. Oh, can we put you down as grammarian, Sally? All right. Great. So we have 1 role. Grammarian. Does anyone want to speak?
I do.
Okay, Tala. Oh, great. Awesome. Would you also be willing to evaluate?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else want to speak?
This is Maya. I can speak.
Oh, great. We'll put you in as speaker 1
Yes,
if you
please.
could. Yeah, so that you can go off the day and pick up your child.
Okay.
So Dee Marie, if you could note her as speaker 1, and she will be evaluator 2, right?
Yes.
And you can evaluate Tala. That would be great. And do we have another speaker? We can put that in the WhatsApp and ask for it. How about general evaluator, Toastmaster, and timer, or table topics master? We have quite a few roles to fill. Okay, that's it for today. And back to you, Mr. President Tala bin Hamid, and
Thank you
for
so
our takeaways and chocolate, or takeaways and treats.
Yeah, treats. So nothing so boring as chocolates. So today we are having smoothies, but with a twist. So first, let me ask, all right, Mr. Isaac Ford, what are you taking away from the meeting?
Oh, thank you for that. I guess I'm taking away how everybody chipped in at the last minute and made this meeting successful. And I learned a lot from the different speeches, especially on happiness. I thought that was a good speech. And I guess my takeaway from that is, as an adult, you need to show more happiness. So that's something I think I'll work on. So that's what I'm taking away.
All right. So what kind of a smoothie would you like? And if you want toppings, we have them too.
You know what? Give me a raspberry smoothie, a blueberry raspberry smoothie.
Oh, wow. All right. All right. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have our guest, Diana, and I dare not pronounce the last name. Are you there?
Diana Ordonez.
Ordonez. All right. So Diana, what are you taking away from the meeting?
So I actually didn't get to hear a lot of it because I logged in earlier and let you know that I had for some reason it showed up on my calendar for 4:30 instead of the 1:30. Like it added the time difference twice for some reason. But I wrote into the comments there some questions because I don't know how to formally join. This is I only attended once before, and I don't know who can send me information on how to join.
I sent you a message. This is Cynthia.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Hi,
and you can just give me your email and
Yeah.
your phone number would be great too, so we can have a chat.
Great.
And I sent you a private chat so you can respond to that and put it in there. Yeah,
We'll do that.
wonderful. Glad you're back,
Thank
Diana.
you. Thanks for having
All right.
me. I'm sorry it didn't work out for being
Oh,
part
yeah.
of the
No
meeting.
problem.
So,
And
Once
you were
I
here
get it
for
on my
our
calendar.
and you were here for our TED event, talking about our TED event.
Yes,
You had so many
yes.
great questions. Yes, please give me
Thank
your
you.
information. Thank you.
all
You
right.
should have it now.
So,
Thank you.
so since you to cement your incoming membership, we would like to offer you a smoothie too. So,
Thanks.
what kind of a smoothie would you like?
You know, I'm not a smoothie person. I'll take a vanilla milkshake.
Oh,
Happy.
all right. That's heavenly, especially at this time of the day, where it's 12:50 a.m. my time. I get strange cravings, and you did not help that at all. But okay, have your milk and sorry, what did you say? Vanilla
Vanilla milkshake.
milkshake. Yeah. So all right, here it comes, and I'll have
Thank
one
you.
myself. All right.
Awesome.
So, Madam Sally Reyes, our grammarian for life.
Okay,
you-
I have one for you. How about a sweet potato smoothie with garam masala in it?
Oh, I like your sense of adventure.
And
Well, not necessarily the idea itself, but to each its own. So there you go. Sweet
Thank
potato with the salt. So what are you taking away?
the way the meeting hangs together with everyone jumping in and filling holes or just involving in their personalities. It's been warm and terrific today. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Although I wasn't there for the whole meeting, the part I was lucky to attend was absolutely phenomenal. And it's actually magical. It's like something coming into being from nothing, something like the Big Bang. You know, before the meeting starts, they're just messages and links. And suddenly, all of a sudden, we are in this room together. And every time I'm here, I see magic happen. So thank you very much, everyone, for that. And we are not leaving out Dee Marie. What are you taking away?
You know, I am always amazed at the synergy. We're all in different parts of the world. We're in different parts of the world. We're everywhere. But the synergistic magic that takes place within the confines of my computer screen. I'm having an impact on everybody else, and everybody is having an impact on me. It's amazing. That's all I can call it. It's just absolutely amazing. And if we will simply stop and absorb what that says about us as a people, we're making history on a daily basis whenever we're in a Zoom together. I don't know any of you. I do not know any of you, but I feel a kinship toward all of you because I've gotten to know you from the Zoom only. I understand how you can be very personable. You sound very kind and concerned, and that means a lot. That means a lot. So that's what I'm taking away.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And yeah, that is quite emotional as well. One realizes the staggering reality that Toastmasters brings out the best in us. There's absolutely no question about it. We are our best versions, not in terms of just being communicators or leaders, but in terms of being human beings. It is sometimes hard to recognize ourselves when we are in a Toastmasters meeting, and that's amazing, honestly. And the sense of kinship, you're so right about that. You put that into words. Thank you for doing that. We don't really know each other. We haven't spent lives together, yet we feel as if we spent lifetimes together. And I would go as far as to say that perhaps being in a Toastmasters meeting, being in the Leaders Worldwide meeting, is perhaps the best use of a stream that you can make, because you will contribute, you will change the world, you will be entertained, you will laugh, you will cry, you will get everything that you get elsewhere, with the difference that you will be doing something rather than just consuming. So absolutely fantastic. And you get 2 smoothies as a reward. So which would you like?
I am not. I absolutely refuse that, okay? But I will. I've been doing my homework. I've been doing my homework on fruits and vegetables, and I know that the raspberry offers the body so many nutritious benefits. So I will take a raspberry pineapple smoothie.
Oh, there must be something to this raspberry thing, because Isaac and you both seem to be fans. So yeah, so there you go.
Raspberries.
I'll have one myself as well. So
a small tad of it spilled, Tala, but I know you didn't intend that on purpose.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I have the best of intentions. So, so all right, everyone. Thank you so much. It was, as always, amazing.